said in the past that it isn't all it's cracked up to be. As you sit and see the team this year, I mean, you've been hovering around second, third, fourth in the league in second chance points this year. What did you like about it, and what do you feel like that's giving you in terms of benefit?
We've been opportunistic. You've got to gauge your opportunities. You know, we have some guys that are very good at it, and the key always is balance. And you know, if you're going to crash a couple of guys, you know, the other three guys got to be back, and they got to be back, and they can't be in limbo or no man's land. You know, so you know, it's a philosophy that can be effective, but it requires discipline, and you know, you got to have the right guys to do it.
What are some of the things you consider specifically with Maxey, if he's going to start or come off the bench for different games?
Matchups, really. And then the big picture, minutes are always in the equation somewhere, you know. But you know, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, you got a guy like Siakam. I mean, you know, and we needed Finney Smith to guard, you know, Van Vliet, and so, you know, that's just where we were with that one. But you know, it frequently changes, and you know, but 38 minutes is a lot for him the other night. He did very well with it, and he was great.
Rick, the last game, Luka and KP were able to do something that's never been done before in team history, Mavericks team history, 20 points, 15 rebounds. What does that tell you about what these guys are able to do going forward?
Well, they can score and rebound, you know. You know, it's a very unique stat. You know, having two guys that get 15 boards and 20 points, I didn't realize that. It's another, you know, interesting price stat. So, yeah, it certainly is a good thing. You know, I thought last game some of the things we did really both ends were encouraging, but you know, we've got to keep it up tonight. Tonight we got a team that's, you know, highly motivated coming in here, and so a lot of what we're doing tonight is about, you know, our disposition and those kinds of things.
How hard is it to play San Antonio when they have a losing record? Because you hadn't played them when they had a losing record in 11 years.
Yeah. Well, I'm very clear on how motivated they are, and I talked to the team a little bit about it this morning, briefly, and but you know, we've got to play our game, and look, every game is hard. I mean, every game we've played at home has been difficult, and for us to do what we want to do, we've got to be a very good home team, and so you know, we got to keep making progress, making up ground. So it's a really important game, but we can only focus so much on how motivated they're going to be, and we've got to keep ourselves motivated and ready to go.
What do you anticipate it's going to feel like first time in this rivalry in a long time with no Dirk and no Spurs Big Three?
Yeah. You know, it's been gradually moving in that direction, so it's probably not as big a storyline as it could be if, you know, 2 or 3 of those 4 or 5 guys all of a sudden stopped, you know. But San Antonio's done a great job with continuity and developing young players and getting them ready to fill roles and so forth, and that's what we're in the middle of now. And you know, I think the hope for both franchises is that, you know, you don't get into a thing where it is a big story, because if it is, you know, you're probably going to take a pretty significant step backwards for a while, you know. But rebuilding is challenging, but at times it's an obvious necessity. We've been going through it for 3 years here, and we're still in it. I mean, we like our roster and stuff, but we're still developing our young players, and they're still learning a lot.
When you look at a rivalry in general, and you have new faces, like you said, does it take time and history to kind of rebuild a rivalry, or does it continue just franchise to franchise, if that makes sense?
Well, I don't know. This is a divisional geographic thing as much as it is a historic thing. And, you know, the younger players involved in this will learn quickly enough, you know, most likely. So, you know, look, we've got to focus on the things necessary to play our best game, and not get too caught up in that stuff. Even though it's you know, it's there.
Tim Hardaway is one of the best net ratings on the team. What's the cause of that? Why is he successful?
Best what?
Net ratings on the team, Tim Hardaway. What's the cause of that, you think?
Well, he's a good player. Plays both ends. You know, he plays with a lot of team energy. I went down to Miami this summer to talk to him about the possibility of being one of our anchors off the bench, and you know why it was important, and you know why I felt he would be a guy that could really do it if he really committed to it. He has committed to it, and even though sometimes you know some of his stat stuff isn't real gaudy, he has a presence on that unit. He's a leader of that unit. That unit's had a really good year so far, and so a lot of it is just his approach. You know, he's just been very determined about it.
Coach, you guys have had some defensive struggles this year, but you continue to preach trying to get the team better defensively. What did you like that you guys did in Toronto that you guys can implement tonight?
Well, we just overall our aggression level was better. We had a more physical presence in the game. We got to do it again tonight. I mean, look, these guys got 2 all-star players. You know, I mean, DeRozan and Aldridge are both great players in this league, and you know what it takes to guard those guys individually and as a team, you know, is a lot. They're different than Van Vliet and Siakam, but they have just as much magnitude, you know, if not more, on their particular team. So, you know, it comes down to those kinds of things. You know, your level of force, how together you are, and how well you can defend great players both individually and as a team. And we've got to have guys individually ready to take on the DeRozan Aldridge challenge, and there are team responsibilities to it as well. And we don't want, you know, we want to do it without giving up easy threes, because these guys are a great three-point shooting team in terms of percentage.
What are the challenges when you have a guard that can rebound like Murray? Does he remind you of anyone in that aspect?
Yeah, I mean, he's a little, you know, Doncic rebounds the ball well too. You know, Westbrook was a great rebounder, a bigger kind of guard. I mean, you can find names of a lot of guys that have those similar qualities. He's a terrific player, and for, you know, this stage of his return, you know, to me it looks very good. Looks like he's playing very well.
What were your thoughts when you heard that Tim Duncan would be part of Popovich's coaching staff?
You know, I've heard how much he loves to be in the gym, and you know that he's stayed close to the game even after he you know, walked away a couple of years ago, and so I'm not shocked by it. I know him to say hello and have had some friendly exchanges with him over the years, going back a long time. So I can't say that I really know him that well. I certainly have great admiration for, you know, what he did in his career and what he stands for as a person. And so, you know, as a leader of the Coaches Association, you know, and the position as president for a long time, you know, we're thrilled to have him. You know, it's a feather in our cap as an organization, for sure.
Coach, you've kind of talked about how Chris Porzingis is getting more comfortable within the offensive scheme for the team. How are you going to continue to put him in positions to succeed where he feels like he's more comfortable within the team flow of the offense?
Well, some of it is those guys just continuing to play together and getting used to each other and playing in a freelance spacing dimension. That's where he did real well last game against Toronto, and it's been getting better and better. And then some of it is figuring out, you know, when we do have to make calls, the right kinds of things that make sense, not only for him, but for our team in today's game, you know, based on spacing parameters and things like that. But he's been very, very on point as far as, you know, wanting to learn, wanting to grasp, you know, wanting to fit in. And he knows that he's got to be a big part of this thing.